Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to our first webinar of 2025 for the Strong Foundations Professional Development for Geotechnical Engineers, non-technical webinar series by CGS YP Committee. This is the 9th webinar since we started this series. My name is Leonardo, and I'm a graduate student in Geotechnical Engineering at the Western University based in London, Ontario. Thank you for joining us today. Some housekeeping items. If you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A field. We will have designated time for questions at the end of the meeting. And we have time at the end for the questions for our speaker. And lastly, feel free to join our LinkedIn group. I will be posting the link for it in the chat in a few minutes. It's called CGS Young Professionals Committee. And there you can keep up with our initiatives. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. Harpreet Panesar is the principal CEO of SoilRocks Consulting Inc., where he is directly involved in all aspects of project delivery, day-to-day business operations, and strategic development. With a passion for transportation geotechnique and a commitment to continuous improvement, Harpreet strives to exceed clients' expectations and deliver innovative solutions. Harpreet brings over 2 decades of diverse geotechnical expertise to the table. He began his career as a field geotechnical engineer with Bauer Spezialtiefbau 1999 to 2001, a globally renowned piling contractor. From 2004 to 2009, he honed his consulting skills as a geotechnical engineer with MDH Engineered Solutions. During his tenure as a senior geotechnical engineer with the Saskatchewan Ministry of Highways, 2009 to 2022, Harpreet made significant contributions to the field, including leading the development of the Foundation Investigation Manual. His exceptional work has recognized industry-wide, earning him the prestigious 2020 Exceptional Engineering Geoscience Project Award from APEX. Today, Harpreet leads SoilRocks Consulting Inc. with the same dedication, bringing innovative and client-focused geotechnical solutions to every project. Please join me in welcoming Harpreet Panesar.
Engineer your impact. Will you build, advise, lead, or innovate? Hi, everyone. I'm Harpreet Panesar, and I'm delighted to be here today with you. A big thank you to Leo for the kind introduction, and Liam for inviting me to speak at the Young Professional Committee of the Canadian Geotechnical Society. I'm excited about this opportunity to connect, engage, exchange insights, hoping to bring some value for you through this session. Today's theme, I'll keep the webinar mostly non-technical, but fair warning, you might hear a few acronyms and technical terms along the way. Expect a strong Saskatchewan influence and a transportation geotechnique focus, as that's where majority of my experience lies. Most importantly, I want to engage with you in a meaningful way. So let's get you all warmed up with a quick exercise. And we're not doing any jumping jacks, sorry. Your videos are not on, so I can't see that. But instead, I want to test how fast you can type on your cell phones. So first thing first, grab your phone and unlock your phone ready to draft a text message. I'll give you 5 to 10 seconds to do that, and I'll do the same. So please grab your phones, have it ready to draft a text message. I want to see how fast you can type. Okay. I hope you have your phones in your hand. Now I want you to imagine this scenario. You have been working at a remote site for past 14 days, and you're finally driving home after a long shift. You're exhausted, you have had enough of eating cold meals, and you miss your loved ones. So as you are coming home, you pick up your phone to send a quick message to the effect of, "Hey, I miss you. I'm sick of cold meals. Save me a plate." So now when I say go, I want you to start drafting that message. Type as fast as you can. And when I say stop, put your phones down and drop a message in this MS Teams chat, which Leo opened up earlier, and just share how many words or lines you were able to type in that time frame. Okay, ready? Go. Stop. Okay, I'm going to pause here and see. Okay. Just reading some messages here. 4 words. A and I. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, everyone who played with this game. So the reality check. Yeah, I didn't finish pulling over. So I gave you all about 4 seconds to type. Now let's put that into perspective. If you're driving at highway speed with your eyes locked on your phone for just 4 seconds, you would have traveled the length of an entire football field without looking at the road and not pulling over. That is full end-to-end football field blindly. So it only takes a moment for something unexpected to happen. A vehicle slowing down, a wildlife crossing, or sudden stop ahead. That is why distracted driving is such a serious issue. So before we move on, let's keep that in mind. A message can wait, safety cannot. This is just a quick stat from Saskatchewan Government Insurance. About 15 deaths that happen on an average every year in Saskatchewan. And it is a global phenomenon. So stay focused, stay alert, and please pull over if you need to text. So to tell you about a bit myself, Leo shared some of the timelines and all that. Personal side, I'm a proud father of 2 young daughters and happily married for 23 years. I'm truly blessed to have these incredible ladies in my life. They are my inspiration, and their unwavering support pushes me to face each day's challenge with a smile. Last week was an International Women's Day, so I would like to wish a heartfelt happy Women's Day and the year ahead to all the women, amazing women here. So I graduated in 1999 with a civil engineering degree, and then I was fortunate enough to start working in deep foundations with Bauer in Dubai and Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, which sparked my passion for geotechnique and brought me to Saskatchewan to do my master's, which I have called home since 2002. And then I had the privilege of working with Dr. Moyer Hogue and the team, and then spent 13 years in Saskatchewan highways before stepping into my own entrepreneurship journey. So if there's one key takeaway from today's presentation that I would like you to take, will be this. Engineer your impact, whether you're building, advising, leading, or innovating. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. In fact, failure teaches you far more than success will ever will. Embrace it as part of the learning process is where the real growth happens. Next, I will walk you through a bit more detailed glimpse at the actual work I did in different roles and share some insights. But let's be clear, I'm always just one piece in a much larger team effort. No matter the size of an engineering project, success always relies on a diverse group of experts and resources. And I'll highlight some of the roles of other players that you may encounter while working for different organizations, or what I encountered. Um, I'll touch on a couple of variables that might impact your role, share a couple of challenges and opportunities that I experienced, keeping in mind those are my personal experience, and depending on your role, things might look a lot different for each of you. Each path has its own unique challenges and rewards, but learning and adapting from every situation will help you become a more versatile and effective engineer. As I was putting this presentation together, I was thinking as to each role, or what does that mean in one simple line? So in my mind, a contractor turns engineering dreams into reality. So from timeline 99 to 2001, I was lucky to get up close and personal with big rigs and heavy construction equipment right out of school. It was like a geotechnical engineer's dream playground. As a field engineer, I oversaw the construction of cast-in-place foundation piles, typically ranging from 600 mils to 1.5 meter in diameter, depths of 20 meters to 30 meters. Now, all these piles were drilled through loose superficial sands of Dubai and Sharjah, using bentonite slurry to support the open borehole and finishing it off end bearing on the sandstone. But two projects were unique and they stood out from the typical cast-in-place pile. Now, one was massive monopiles that were for a stadium, a true beast at 3 meters in diameter and around 25 meters deep. With such a scale, personnel and equipment safety were top priorities, and everyone had to be on their A game for that. The second project was in a Dubai's gold market, where we had to install 250 millimeter diameter micropiles, 15 meter deep. And the real challenge was access. I was extremely tight. Getting into the site, working in Dubai's desert heat was another one. Limited airflow made it really, really tough. Beyond foundation piles for structure support, also built a lot of excavation support systems using different pile walls. Without getting into those details, different pile walls to support the underground parquets and all that. I did a lot of that as well. All excavation support pile walls also needed grouted tieback anchors, which were strand system for additional stability. So as a field engineer, I was responsible for more than just equipment logistics. I handled a QA/QC testing, ensuring everything met the required company standards. This included monitoring bentonite slurry properties, checking viscosity, density, sand content, pH, and things like that. So to make sure the open borehole stays open before the concrete and the steel can go into the drilled shaft. Conducting slump tests on the concrete, workability checks for concrete mixes, and preparing concrete molds for compressive strength tests. On the reinforcement side, checking bar spacing, ties, spaces, alignment, and all that. Once the construction was complete, using actual field testing to pull out testing for anchors, and using static pile load testing to test the piles was also part of the routine. So as an engineer, working for a contractor, one could find filling in one or many roles. As you can see, I've listed some roles that were with Bauer, and It's not an exhaustive list by no means. For different contractors will have different folks, but those 4 highlighted in blue is what I was responsible at times, and I was filling those roles. I'll share an interesting story. During my time in Dubai, in Arabic, engineers are referred to as muhandis, and pardon me if I said it wrong, but that's how I heard muhandis. But the twist is, if a worksite injury leads to death or serious harm, the first thing the Dubai or Sharjah police would do is arrest the muhandis. Yes, they would arrest the field engineer. The poor engineer wouldn't be released until the company representative comes down with the necessary paperwork and clears things up. Harsh reality, but one thing that really drove home the importance of safety and thorough documentation in the field. Engineer's role also may change depending on the size of the company. If you're working for a small firm, you might be wearing multiple hats, gaining diverse experience and more workload. Mid-sized contractors, you could be, a room for specialization, leadership opportunities, versus the large contractors, you could be specialized in defined roles with clear career progression and perhaps global opportunities to work. Now, there could be many challenges and opportunities. I'm just going to highlight two key that were applicable to me. I think environmental elements, you're always out there and working with those environmental elements, the timelines and the budgets that you have. Let's face it, a rig on standby isn't making any money, and the work is wherever the site is. So weather and site conditions can really throw a wrench into best laid plans. Opportunities, massive field experience and camaraderie. You get to build real, tangible assets, often as part of the close-knit team, and those experiences are invaluable as you grow as an engineer. The consultant, shifting gears here to consultant, they provide expert advice to solve problems, guide decisions and designs, and make projects run smoother during construction without getting their hands too dirty or too often, unless you're a geotechnical engineer. So after 2 years in Dubai, I started hearing a voice in my head telling me I wasn't cut out for plus 40-degree weather. So I made the move to move to Canada to pursue higher education, and had the chance to work on my master's at the University of Saskatchewan with Dr. Chit Sherman. Dr. Lee Barber, who I took graduate course from Dr. Lee Barber, and he was also instrumental in introducing me to Dr. Moira Hoog, which eventually led me to my first job in Canada with MDH Engineered Solutions. At the time, MDH was the leading geoenvironmental engineering service provider in Saskatchewan for almost most of the potash mines from early to late 2000s, before being acquired by SNC-Lavalin in 2011, I believe. And now it's known as Atkins-Realis. My work at MDH included, site investigations, now drilling, mud rotary and auger drilling, but more for the design perspective, and geophysical borehole logging, instrumentation installation and monitoring. Design also required slope stability analysis for the tailing piles, for the dikes, and all those things. Seepage analysis, 2D seepage analysis, as well as 3D groundwater modeling. It was an amazing learning experience, and I had the pleasure of working with a fantastic group of very talented individuals. One unforgettable experience was my first mud rotary drilling job that was on top of the Rocanville potash tailing pile, 70 meters above ground, December 2005. Temperatures were below minus 30 degrees Celsius. wind chill, it felt colder, and I couldn't help but wonder if Dubai's plus 40-degree weather wasn't so bad after all. Working at MDH also gave me the opportunity to contribute to construction projects, dikes, liner construction, cutout walls, again, QA, QC came part of it, field testing, materials testing, surveying, some assisting on surveying, visual inspections, and those. Again, the hands-on experience that allowed me to dive deeper into the practical side of geotechnical engineering. Now, engineers and consulting firms take on roles, it could be a technical design to project management or even business development. So if you were an entry-level engineer, graduate engineer, you could be doing field engineer work and become more specialist designer. You gain more experience, you can handle project, you could become a specialist engineer, or you could become a project manager handling multiple jobs at a time. Once you get to the senior level, you're reviewing the work, you're doing a senior engineer, you could become a principal engineer of the company or technical director. And if you're into the business side and doing business development, you could become a firm owner or part owner, depending on how the business is set up and how is it going. Gonna grab a sip of water. Similar to the contractors, the size of the consulting firm could dictate how many hats you're wearing, whether you're working locally or if you're doing, global opportunities with larger and multinational companies, and you're getting to work on different projects away from your hometown as well. The challenge, I guess, balancing technical aspects of a project with client expectations, again, around timelines and budgets. As a consultant engineer, you have to ensure the technical integrity of a project while also meeting the budget and timeline expectations. Opportunities, there were many, and a couple that stand out is, the technical expertise, gaining a deeper understanding of the internal mechanics of your design. You could be involved on different stages of a project, which gives you unique opportunity to dig into the intricacies of the design. You get to see how each piece of the project fits together. Again, continuous improvement, continuous learning, improving your craft. Consultants often work with interdisciplinary teams. You build strong relationships with colleagues. Not only, makes the work more enjoyable, but it also strengthens the team's ability to problem solve and work efficiently together, leading to better project outcomes. At the end of the day, while challenges are inevitable, they're accompanied by great opportunities for professional growth, personal satisfaction when you're working as a consultant or for a consultant. Owners, really, what I'm thinking as owner is you could be a public owner, like government bodies, Department of Transportation, municipalities and such. Private sector owners could be, like mining firms, energy companies, industrial facility owners, real estate developers and such. There could be institutional owners, they are like universities, hospitals, airport authorities, and there's also a P3 owner, which is a public-private partnership agreement, and Regina Bypass is a great local example of that. So, there could be other owners, but you need to understand who you're working for, because each type of owner has its own set of priorities and challenges, and that will influence how projects are planned, funded, and executed, and that will impact the role you get to serve. So back to my work with the highways 2009 to 2022. In 2009, I actually met an impressive drill team from Saskatchewan highways. And soon after, I came across a job posting for a senior geotechnical engineer. That little voice in my head told me to explore further, and I'm glad I listened. The exploration led to honor of serving as a senior geotechnical engineer for Saskatchewan highways, a role I love to fill each and every day for nearly 13 years. Now, during my time at Saskatchewan Highways, I had the pleasure of working not only with highways team, but also assisted community planning, Ministry of Environment and Agriculture for their geotechnical needs. You know, and yes, the picture that I have here up here is, despite being in the prairies, Saskatchewan does have landslides. It is one of the most memorable sites that would nearly drop 2 meters every spring. One of the fastest moving landslide at that time before it was mitigated. When I first started, geohazard mitigation was handled at Saskatchewan Highways through operations and emergency funding streams, but it lacked the dedicated funding needed to maintain over 200 geohazard sites across the province. Even though we were a small team, 1 to 3 people maximum at a time, I'm proud that we successfully convinced decision makers to establish a geohazard capital program, and in the end, really improving road safety for users and the maintenance staff. Beyond geohazards, our small team also provided some support as required for construction and operational projects. My heart skips a beat every time I see that picture of this best-looking mud rotary rig, which was operated by the fantastic drill team in the Saskatchewan highways. Around 2011 to 12, Saskatchewan highways underwent a reorganization, shifting my focus from active site investigations to technical standards. Around the same time, highways launched its effort to, the largest P3 project in Saskatchewan, the Regina Bypass. So the lessons we as a team learned from the Regina Bypass and other projects, combined with insights from other subject matter experts, contributed to the development of the Foundation Investigation Manual. Again, very proud of the small team of the achievement in standardizing the geotechnical practice in Saskatchewan. I've always been a strong advocate for publishing case study papers, and we did in several CGS annual conferences. Sharing knowledge drives innovation. You get to hear other people's perspective as well. Now, if you're working for an owner, you should always ask, are you working with a knowledgeable owner? An owner that understands or has technical standards and requirements, accepts feedback, prioritizes risk management, has a contingency planning, and other, understands the regulatory and environmental requirements for delivery. Now, don't be fooled by the size or age of an organization. As I mentioned before, Saskatchewan Highways didn't have a geotechnical standard until 2018. They had knowledgeable staff. However, a standard provides a clear direction for the entire industry and brings working efficiencies. So always keep in mind, if you think there's a gap, you can work towards that to bring improvement and betterment for everyone. David Stearns, he's the retired executive director. He was my boss's boss, but I was sold on a very first presentation when I met him, which he said, "We do not know it all. However, we will work really hard to get an answer to your question." So that, steps back, you don't need to know everything, but you need to work to get the answers to the real questions. Quite humbling. It actually talks about continuous professional development. You got to keep improving, and you can find answers, within a team. Challenges as an owner representative, decision making under the financial and the organizational constraints, budgets and limited resources, pressures of time. Every decision needs to be made with a full understanding that the financial implications and the impact on the broader organizational goals. It requires some financial acumen and careful prioritization to ensure that you're meeting both short-term objectives and long-term strategic goals. Balancing technical and political pressures is also a constant challenge. Where the technical expertise is essential to ensure that decisions are grounded in sound engineering principles. The political landscape often demands, where you got to balance a deep understanding of the stakeholders that are involved, their priorities, the stakeholders' priorities. What are the potential consequences of those decisions? So from opportunities, I think the leadership tops, because when you're part of an asset owner team, you have to live with the design and construction for a very long time. So you have to own it. You have to be leader. You have to take it on. Understanding big picture goals, it helped me with that. It's not about the nuts and bolts of execution, which are very important, but about aligning final outcomes that it supports the broader goals, whether it's in terms of safety, community impact, or sustainability, and things like that. Switch now to entrepreneur. Really, an entrepreneur, in my mind, turns ideas into reality while juggling risks, rewards, somewhat, and a never-ending to-do list. Remember that little voice in my head, the one that always seems to have an opinion? Well, during late 2021 and early 2022, it kept nudging me and asking, what's your next move? But didn't provide me a clear answer until that morning on February 22nd, 2022. I came to a full realization I had given everything I could as a geotechnical engineer for Saskatchewan highways. Not superstitious, but there was something eerie about all those twos in my logbook. Not deeply religious either, but I do believe in higher power, whether you call it God, Allah, Ram, Vaheguru, or something else. Sitting in my office, I whispered a small prayer, give me a sign. Still caught in this dilemma, I sent a quick MS Teams message to my acting boss, who was filling in for my director, and asked if she was available to talk. The time she picked sealed my fate with highways. Since that day and time, I've been assigned to serve SoilRocks. At SoilRocks, our mission is simple: to constantly improve ourselves, our teams, geotechnical services, and products. First year, it was just me. I began by supporting industry partners on some highway projects, advising, designing, assisting with instrumentation, and providing construction support. One project at a time, SoilRocks started to take shape. In 2023, 1 year after, we expanded our services to include asphalt coring and solid stem auger drilling. I was fortunate to have two young First Nations men join the team, both pouring their heart and sweat into delivering safe and high quality service to our clients. I'm very proud that one of them is still leading our drilling operations today. And we navigated, because of their hard work, we navigated a fair number of sites in 2023 and 2024, tackling various challenges, whether it's equipment or geotechnique, delivering service with a smile. In 2024, we have more knowledgeable staff joining us, and we expanded our capabilities by adding EM31, geophysical tool for aggregate resource management, and integrating GIS technology into our service offerings, and really in trying to enhance our ability to provide data-driven solutions. This year, we have added a track rig to tackle environmental and geotechnical projects for our clients. It will allow us to do direct push, solid stem, hollow stem, mud rotary drilling somewhat. Undisturbed Shelby tube samples and standard penetration testing can be easily done. And it's also wired to do cone penetration testing and can be done if a project requires that. Really enhances our ability to tackle a wider range of projects that we can take on. At the end of the day, I'm truly blessed to have SoilRocks team, a dream team that makes it look easy. They embrace the change. They are eager to learn and grow. Stay committed to our vision, which is basically prioritizing safety, quality, and environment above all else. And again, I learned that from one of my other mentors, Fred Antunes, while he was with Highways as the Deputy Minister of Highways. The dedication of the staff is really the foundation of everything we do. Beyond our internal team, none of this would be possible without our incredible industry partners and clients. Deeply grateful for their trust and the collaboration, and allowing us to bring some value to their projects. I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason, and fate led me to Dr. Sharma's office door in August 2002. And over the years, he became my guru, mentor, older brother, always cheering me on and supporting me unconditionally, never asking for anything in return, really. Alongside Jit, I'm blessed to have Ray Conley and Roger Skiro, my other two mentors who have been instrumental in SoilRocks' growth and giving me the opportunity to learn from them every single day. In fact, Ray Conley was part of the hiring committee at the Ministry of Highways that gave me an opportunity that shaped my career in ways I could have never imagined. These three men are absolute gems, among the kindest individuals I have met, masters of their craft, and the very definition of technical excellence. So depending on the business model, if you're an engineer, entrepreneur, or working for one, you may find yourself wearing multiple hats, handling technical, you could be handling project delivery, could be working in the operations, you could be helping with the health and safety and environment or business development. And if you're an engineer entrepreneur, the list goes on further and further, from accounting to insurance to finance to legal to HR, and the cycle never really stops. It's a continuous loop of learning, adapting, and problem solving. One thing I always emphasize both to myself and my team, it is the importance of staying honest with ourselves. We cannot afford to become complacent. So I remind my team, and sometimes quite bluntly, that we are just one safety incident away from having to close our doors. It's not a figure of speech, it's reality, and it happens to many, and the statistics are showing that as well. The challenges, cash flow is the number one that comes to mind. Cash flow is the lifeblood of small business, and then managing sometimes can feel like tightrope, like walking on a tightrope. You're putting everything out there you got into the business, but the cash might not be coming in as quickly as you would like. constantly balancing between paying bills, investing in growth, keeping the business running smoothly. Now, the other big one is work-life balance. When you are the one responsible for everything, it's easy to let work consume your life. Long hours and never-ending tasks can sometimes feel overwhelming, and even more so for your family. You're not just building a business, you're building relationships, supporting your team, and nurturing the needs of your clients. But in doing so, it can be hard to find time for yourself, your family, and your personal well-being at times. But despite these challenges, the opportunities are what makes it all worth it. There's something incredibly fulfilling about building something from nothing, seeing an idea come to life, growing it from the ground up, and creating something of value. The satisfaction is immeasurable. It's about creating a legacy, building a culture of support and collaboration, and helping others really achieve their own success. Engineer your impact. Will you build, advise, lead, or innovate? I'm just going to share a couple more slides before we end up here. Engineers' role could also be based on the procurement method. Engineers are split between consultants and the contractor roles in a design bid build traditional method. If you're a design build, engineers collaborate early for constructability optimization. If you're an engineer procure, construct, EPC, turnkey model, which is what typically Bauer does, you're integrating engineering, you're integrating with procurement and execution. P3, it could be long-term performance and asset management. You have to balance that. The other one could be the project stage. Which stage the other variables. Is it the feasibility study? Is it a design? Is it construction? Is it an operation project? Are you bidding on a job? That will change your decision making and risk. Who's taking on the financial and the technical responsibility? Speed of the delivery. Is it an emergency mitigation, or are you working towards a long-term planned project? Cost, profit, and a few other things that from financial perspective as to the investment who is putting it on. From technology, at what stage is the technology? Is it being implemented? Is it being ready to implement, or are you developing innovation? And there could be 1,000 other variables. I just want to make sure you stay open to, change, continue learning, and keep growing always. So today's topic is broad, and we could spend days diving into the finer details, but with our limited time today, I hope you found some value out of it. If I can be of any assistance to you and would like to connect with me, feel free to reach out to me, and I will share and help to the best of my ability. Thank you very much.